Hi, welcome to part 8. We will look at some more questions. So if you are not yet subscribed to, so if you are interested in certifications, let's look at this question. So you have uh, a web app in Azure. You have used .NET to create that web app. So suppose this is your web app, and you have to run ping tests every 5 minutes. So normally we run ping and then see whether we are able to get some message from a server. That means that server is reachable on the internet or not. So that is what this guy is trying to check. There will be a system here, and the system will send ping statements every 5 minutes to this guy, to the web app, and check if this is up and running or not. Okay, and suppose it is not up and running, some problems, the ping is not getting positive response. So what does that mean? That means that you need to create an alert that something is missing, boss. Please, this guy is not reachable. Please, create an alert. And you want to minimize the development time, so you want to do it as fast as possible without much of coding. You want to use whatever is available in Azure. Whatever Azure gives, you want to use it. See, in this case, monitor is not a good choice. The reason is, see, it can monitor these things. It's a comprehensive solution, and it monitors your data from cloud as well as on premises. It will do both. So it will monitor these things: virtual machines, databases. That means there are certain metrics that it will monitor. You see, this consumption, this everything it monitors, but this will not ping, and not good for that example. So basically you can monitor and get alerts for various resources like these, and the infrastructure is the primarily objective. Infrastructure health: is the CPU okay, is the storage enough? Those kind of things we use monitor alerts. Here we will not use, because it is all about infrastructure. Service health alert means which service in Azure has planned maintenance. That means there can be some downtime during maintenance, some service disruptions, etc. So this will not help us with this pinging and sending alerts. It will not help. And Azure function is like AWS Lambda. It's a serverless option. It is serverless in nature. So we don't use this here. This is, see, can it work? Yes, it can, but it will not minimize. You see this? You want to minimize development. See, here you have to do coding. In Azure function, you can use and do coding and achieve whatever you want. But then, uh, if Azure has given you something to use ready-made, if the ready-made shirt and trousers are available, why do you want to take some uh, 1 or 2 meter of clothes and stitch it? You don't have to do that custom solution here. Ready-made solution is there. This is your ready-made solution. Application insights: it's a feature of monitor, but it is all about application performance management for web applications. This is exactly what our question requires. Okay, so you can do so many things: live metrics, transaction search, performance views, failure views, and then you can do monitoring, alerts. So in our question we need to send alerts, and we are not interested in metrics. As of now, we just want to ping and see if something gets screwed up, and then we send alerts. So inside alerts, it's all about, specifically designed to monitor web applications and services. So that is our question requires this one. This is a web application monitoring specifically, and you can track user behavior, performance metrics, exceptions. In our case, we are just checking for availability. If we ping, we should get a successful response. So it's provides pre-built alerts for what, like for something like fail request. This is what something which we are interested in. It's either it's a fail request or the response can be slow. Okay, it can be either of those. Either, listen to me carefully, either the ping and the response is not there at all, it's a fail request, or the response is there but it takes unusually more time. So that is why option B fits the bill in this case, because you are, minimizing your development time significantly. You're not doing any coding, but you're just making use of your application insight features, and this is very important from a conceptual standpoint. So you got a multi-tier application. So this is the next question. You have a multi-tier application. That means there can be a front end, there can be a middle service, middle layer, and then there can be a database. So this can be called a three-tier architecture. So the front end of the application is hosted in Azure App Service, which, why do we use this? If you want to build web apps, like you can build a spawn a EC2 instance, plug some softwares, create websites, or you can simply use app service. You can quickly build, scale, and create some web apps very fast. So to do not reinvent the wheel, do not use custom coding. If app service is there, use it. So in this question, we have an app. I mean, this guy is making use of web apps. The front end is there. So this guy, the front end is on app service. Now, what do you have to do? So you have to identify the average load times of the application pages. So the page, once you do something like Amazon.com and the page loads, you want to identify what is the average load time. Is it like uh, 10 milliseconds, 1 second, 5 seconds, anything of that sort, or 10 seconds? So in order to do that, what should you use? See, first let us scan through the options and see advisor will not work in this case. What does advisor do is it is just like a best practice, a consultant who says, this is a best practice. It's like a coach, and they say that if you want to reduce cost or increase efficiency, then these are your cloud investments you may have to make, and then these are the best practices. You take those best practices, but then whether you want to implement and the way you implement, it's up to you. So advisor is just advising. It will not help you with going on the ground and say like, okay, let me calculate the load times. They will not do it. They are just like your project manager. If you work for some IT company, so project manager, it's like they don't dirty their hands, but they just instruct and say, okay, this needs to happen. So we don't need a manager here. Let's look at diagnostic logs of app service. This also does not look correct. So why? Because it gives you detailed information about the performance, health, and behavior of your web applications. And you are not interested in any of these. You just have to identify what is the average load time. Okay. Yeah. So diagnostic logs, it's like, when do you go to a doctor and when does the doctor say that you need an X-ray because something, you go and say, hey, I fell down and my hands are swollen. So that's a diagnosis that guy has to carry out, and then he says, hey, why don't you, let us scan, do an X-ray scan of your limbs or bones and etc. So that is diagnostic. Here nothing got screwed up, everything is fine. You just want to check the blood pressure, that's all. Nothing is screwed up now. Okay, you are just going to check the blood pressure. So what is the activity log? It's all about, it tracks everything, like what events and actions happened within your web applications, who tried to log in, if there were SQL injection attacks, how many times it happened, at what time it happened, etc. And then you can go through the logs and then see, uh, suppose if you see there are 5 SQL injection attacks, okay, then it means that somebody is trying to mess up with your system. So you need to use that log data to provide more security. This is just an RCA. Like if you see a problem, you have to fix it. So activity log is everything that is happening in the system. But then uh, we just need average load times. We just need to know what is the blood pressure, and activity log will tell me, okay, what is the kidney creatine levels, what is the sugar level, uh, the blood count, RBC, everything. I'm not interested in that. I just need simple. I just need the blood pressure. I just need the average load time. So I'll go for application insights. So it is a part of Azure Monitor, and then you can do all of these things. You can create alerts, you can monitor so many things. So option A, application insights. This is something which is useful in this scenario as well. Now the next one is, this is the next question. This is about incident management. So you are making use of ServiceNow. This is ServiceNow. Okay, this is your ServiceNow, and you are developing an application on Azure. The company needs to generate a ticket when the application fails to authenticate. That means authenticate means you entered your username and password to log in to the application and it failed to authenticate. That means either you are using an expired credential or uh, you have an invalid credential that you have entered, or you may be a suspected bad player who's trying to get into the system, trying different combinations of the credentials. So it can be anything, but we are assuming that you are a fair player, and then they say that, okay, this guy is not able to authenticate, let's raise a ticket in ServiceNow. So which log analytics solution should you use in this case? So when we talk about log analytics, it is all about, Azure Monitor. uh, uh, so it is a part of Azure Monitor, and then you see it's a tool. You can edit and run log queries. So Azure Monitor collects the data, and then you use log analytics to run through that data, query, and then do your own analysis and etc. So if we try to look at Insights Connector, so this is about, you want to integrate your on-premises application. See, normally what happens is in a hybrid cloud, you have your OP, that's your on-premises application, and then you have this is your cloud application, that is your Azure, and you want to monitor. In Azure, you can use Azure Monitor, but what about the on-premises? Azure Monitor can extend and monitor your on-premises systems as well. Now, in order to do that, you got to use something like an Insights connector, and then using your Insights connector, you can link or connect to on-premises, and then the Azure Monitor can start monitoring for performance, health, and usage. Okay, so we got to know that if you want to extend the Azure monitoring on top of your on-premises applications, you can do that using Insights Connector. It's a bridge. It's a bridge which will help you talk to your on-premises systems. In this case, we are restricted to tickets management. We are not worried about on-premises. Did the question tell you anything about on-premises? No. So why would we even worry about that? Okay, and then we talk about automation and control. This is not about anything related to automation and control. Insights and analytics. Let's look at insights and analytics here. So insights and analytics, what it gives you is a comprehensive tool, and it gives you uh, capabilities to monitor your performance, troubleshoot, analyze usage patterns, optimize your cloud environment. So it's all about whatever data was collected by Azure Monitor, the insights and analytics will run on top of it. So for example, your Azure Monitor collected the data and kept it here. Your insights and analytics is sitting on top of it. It will read this data, and you can do curing, you can do usage pattern analysis and so on. But buddy, we are talking about tickets. Where the F they are talking about tickets? Nobody is mentioning about tickets. So ITSM is that system. So that is your ITSM system. ITSM is service management. When we talk about ticket in ServiceNow, we are talking about service management, service management, service management. That's why we are using a common sense. ServiceNow, ServiceNow, service management. Ticket means service management, service management. But what the hell is ITSM? It helps you with comprehensive set of tools. It has all the features. For what? For what? For what? For streamlining your IT processes, improving efficiency, enhance customer satisfaction. If you ask any IT project manager, they love this because it makes the management so simple and so centralized. They love this. So this would be our answer, ITSM. So if you're looking for some documentation references, this is what the documentation says. Uh, it can integrate Azure Monitor with ITSM products. So there is a ITSM integration workflow from ServiceNow. This explains the steps. Okay. And then that's all we have in the documentation. Okay. I hope you understood the concepts. The concepts are the key when we try to explain the different nuances, weed out the wrong options to arrive at the right answer. Now this brings us to the end of part 8. We will post many more such questions, but do go through these videos multiple times because the concepts are elaborated significantly so that you don't have to worry about going through some courses and then fall back on these playlists. You can straight away open this playlist and start your preparation because we are explaining in layman terms what each option means. So do not worry about first completing a course on these certification and Azure or AWS and then come here. You can directly come there, and through these questions you can prepare yourself for different scenarios. So each question has at least 4 options. So if you are covering one question, basically we are trying to cover 4 different topics. So if we covered say 200 questions, so we have actually looked through 1200 different topics. Now some of them uh, may uh, may overlap, but then there are 1200 times that you would go through 200 different concepts uh, and try to make sense out of it. So even if you have not gone through the courses, don't worry about it. Just plug in, tune in, and then go through these videos.